How could you do this to me, Ryan? I screamed, my voice cracking like thunder in the suffocating silence of our living room. I can still hear those words ricocheting in my skull, sharp and raw. As if it happened yesterday, though it's been over a year. I was 6 months pregnant, trembling in the doorway, my swollen belly a shield against the storm raging inside me. He just stood there, arms folded, his face a blank mask, like I was the one unraveling everything. That was the moment, the gut-wrenching, soul-shattering moment, when I realized the life we'd built was nothing but smoke and lies. My name's Sarah Carter. I'm 32 now, a single mom to my radiant 1-year-old daughter, Lily. Life's nothing like I pictured it, but somehow, it's fiercer, stronger, better in ways I never imagined. A little over a year ago, betrayal hit me like a freight train, flipping my world into chaos just as I was about to bring my little girl into it. In those first weeks after Ryan walked out, I was sinking, drowning in a sea of memories I couldn't escape. Every time I shut my eyes, his face loomed, his voice slicing through me. I'm not attracted to you anymore, Sarah. Look at you. You've let yourself go. Those words clawed at me, festering, tearing deeper with every echo. And then there was Emily, my so-called best friend, who couldn't even muster the courage to face me. I didn't bother confronting her. What was the point? I slashed her out of my life like a cancer. No words needed. Pregnancy dragged on, a solitary battle, emotionally, financially, all of it. Ryan didn't just abandon me. He erased Lily too. Not a call, not a cent, nothing. My mom tried to hold me together, but I saw the pain in her eyes, the helplessness as she watched her daughter crumble. I faked strength for her, for everyone, but at night, when the house fell silent, I'd collapse, sobbing until exhaustion swallowed me whole. It all started with a knock. My friend Lisa showed up, her face drained of color, her eyes wide with something heavy. Sarah, we need to talk, she said, stepping inside like she was crossing a battlefield. She hesitated, her breath hitching, then let it spill. I saw Ryan today, with Emily. They were leaving a hotel. Together. I didn't want to believe it, but they kissed, right there in the hallway. My stomach plummeted, a cold, sickening drop. My heart slammed against my ribs as shock ignited into fury. What do you mean, a hotel? I demanded, my voice trembling. Are you sure? This is serious, Lisa. She nodded. Her gaze steady, but laced with pity. My brother was staying there. I was heading to his room when I saw them. They came out together, Sarah. They kissed. I'm so sorry, you had to know. Her words slammed into me like a fist, knocking the air from my lungs. I sank onto the couch, gasping, as my world tilted and spun. The man I'd trusted, the father of my unborn child. Sneaking around with my best friend? Emily, who'd laughed with me, cried with me, held me up when life got hard. How could they? Rage, shame, heartbreak, they tangled into a suffocating knot I couldn't untie. Every vow, every dream we'd shared, now mocked me, a cruel, twisted joke. Had I been blind? Or was I just that disposable? That night, I waited for Ryan, my insides churning, my pulse a war drum in my chest. When his car rolled into the driveway, dread and fury collided, electrifying the air. He strolled in, casual as ever, tossing his keys onto the counter, tugging at his tie. I didn't let him get far. How long, Ryan? I spat, my voice ablaze, steady despite the quake inside me. He froze. Confusion flickering, then his face hardened. What are you talking about? He shot back, playing dumb. Don't lie to me. I roared, my control snapping. Lisa saw you, at the hotel with Emily. Tell me the truth, now. His jaw tightened, and he scoffed, a bitter edge to it. Lisa? That nutcase? She probably saw something innocent and blew it up. You're paranoid, Sarah, imagining things. But his eyes wouldn't meet mine, and his voice rang hollow. Don't you dare, I shouted, my voice breaking like glass. She saw you kiss her, coming out of a room together. Don't insult me with your lies. He threw his hands up, pacing like a caged animal, cornered and snarling. You're making this a circus. Emily and I are just friends. Lisa's twisting it. His excuses were flimsy, pathetic, and the guilt bled through every twitch of his face. Then I felt it. Lily kicked, a flutter against the chaos, grounding me for a fleeting second. Sadness crashed over me, heavy and suffocating. Do you even care about us? I whispered, my hand on my belly. Your daughter, she's here, feeling this, feeling me break because of you. His gaze flicked to my stomach, but his expression stayed ice cold. "This isn't about the baby," he snapped. "Stop being so dramatic." That was it. The final crack. Dramatic? I echoed, my voice rising, trembling with fury. "I'm 6 months pregnant, Ryan. You're screwing my best friend, destroying our family before Lily's even born, and I'm dramatic." He sighed, like I was exhausting him. "It just happened, okay? I can't help how I feel. Things haven't been right with us for a while. Look at you. You've changed. I'm not attracted to you anymore. I'm sorry. But it's the truth." Then he went lower, his voice a venomous hiss. "God, Sarah, listen to yourself, whining nonstop since you got pregnant. Your back, your feet, your exhaustion, like you're the only woman who's ever had a kid. It's pathetic. And look at you, huge, waddling around like some elephant. Julia's gorgeous, fun. You're just a needy wreck. And I'm done pretending." His words were knives, carving me open, stripping me bare. I stood there, numb, as he dismantled me. Betrayal wasn't enough. He had to humiliate me too. "You don't care." I choked out, barely audible. "Not about me, not about Lily, not about us." He shrugged, cold as stone. "I've moved on, Sarah. Maybe you should too." That was the end of the man I'd loved. The next day, I packed what I could, clothes, memories, shards of a life, and left. My mom had offered her place weeks before, and now I had no choice. She met me at the door, arms wide. And I shattered, sobbing into her like a lost child. "It's okay, honey," she murmured, holding me tight. "You and Lily will be okay. We'll get through this." Her house became my refuge. But the silence screamed. I'd fold Lily's tiny clothes, staring at them, wondering how I'd raise her alone. I'd reach for my phone, tempted to unleash my rage on Ryan, but I stopped myself. He didn't deserve my words. He vanished, no calls, no texts, no sign he'd ever cared. I boxed up every trace of him, photos, promises, and buried them in the closet. He was a ghost. But his absence roared. Pregnancy battered me, exhaustion, stress, loneliness. Mom was my anchor, but the guilt gnawed. Lily deserved the family I dreamed of. Yet every kick reminded me she was my strength. When she arrived, she was perfection, tiny fingers curling around mine, her big, bright eyes chasing away the dark. Holding her, I wasn't broken anymore. Ryan didn't matter. Lily was mine, my everything. Weeks blurred by feedings, sleepless nights, a new rhythm. She was my world, her every smile a lifeline. I didn't need Ryan, I had her. Then, one day, I left her with Mom and hit the mall, craving a sliver of normalcy. Wandering through the bustle, I felt the world hum again, until a voice sliced through it. "Sarah?" I turned, and my blood froze. Emily. She looked wrecked, pale, red-eyed, her belly swollen. Before I could bolt, she lunged, tears streaming. "Sarah, I'm so sorry," she sobbed, clutching my arm. I stiffened, stunned. She was a mess, slumped, trembling. "John left me," she wailed. "He lost his job, started gambling, drinking. When I told him I was pregnant, he bailed. I'm so sorry. I was selfish, stupid. Please forgive me." She crumpled, sobbing in the mall's fluorescent glare, begging. I'd fantasized about this, her broken, pleading, but now? Nothing. No triumph, just a hollow ache. I stared, then turned and walked away, leaving her in her wreckage. Back home, the day's surreal twist wasn't done. There, slouched on the steps, was Ryan, unkempt, reeking of booze, a shadow of himself. "Sarah," he slurred, staggering up. "I needed to see you. I love you. I love Lily. Please, let me fix this." Rage flared, hot and jagged. "What are you doing here?" I snapped. He swayed, gripping the railing. "I'm sorry, I've lost everything. Please, give me a chance." "Sorry." I laughed, bitter and sharp. "You left us, 6 months pregnant, alone, and now you're sorry? Stinking of liquor, begging?" He crumpled, tears streaking his face. "I know I don't deserve it, but I've changed. Let me be in Lily's life. For a heartbeat." I wavered, pity flickered, but the scars held firm. "No," I said, steel in my voice. "You chose this. We're better without you." I stepped past, shut the door, and left him in the dark. Inside, I leaned against it, the day crashing down. Emily and Ryan, both broken, undone by their own hands. I hadn't needed revenge. They'd reaped it themselves. Upstairs, Lily slept, peaceful, perfect. I kissed her forehead, love flooding me. This was my life now, beautiful, mine.